everybody, welcome back to another episode of At Home with the Willises. But as you can see, we are not at home. As a matter of fact, we are here with Jen at Valhallan, and it is an Esports Training Center right here in Henderson. But first, you're at home with the Willises.
Welcome to Valhallan. Good to meet you guys.
Hi, I'm Nikki.
Good. Hi, Nikki. Great to meet you. And you are?
Jameen.
Jameen. Great to meet you.
This is incredible.
Thank you.
Okay, hold on. This is nothing like playing Super Mario Brothers back in the day.
No.
Like when Sega Genesis. This is nothing like that.
Yeah.
This is so cool.
Not quite, but it's definitely the evolution of it, right?
Okay,
I mean,
yeah.
like Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, those classic games.
Yeah.
NBA Jam. I'm NBA Jam. I'm Mortal Kombat with the.
There you go. Yeah, it definitely helped us transition to what we have today, and so I can't wait to share more about who we are, what we do, and how this is now becoming the sports of tomorrow. So
I love that. Sports of tomorrow. Okay, so we're in Valhallan.
Yes.
This, by the way, everybody, this is Morris Jackson. He is the owner of this Valhallan, and I just learned that you own two more.
Two others, yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
we have 3 locations that are currently open. We have one here in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We also have another one in North Carolina and a third one in California, Northern California, which is in that Sacramento area.
Yeah.
But our goal is to get past 50 of these.
50.
Yeah, over the next 5 years.
This is happening.
Yeah.
This is happening.
So
Well,
right now,
awesome.
3 and 4 months, so we're off to a good pace. So.
Yeah, for sure. So tell us, we've got people watching all over. Can you tell us a little bit about what esports is? So we're all on the same page here.
Yeah. So esports is, like I said, it's now I would call the modern day version of sports.
Okay.
Esports now takes the games that that kids play online, or and really puts it into a competitive format. So you have games such as Fortnite, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, League of Legends. These are the games that kids can compete on, not just on a regional level, but a global level.
Yeah.
Whether, again, I say kids because we train youth, but it's also for adults too.
Okay.
And so we really help the youth, though, learn how to introduce themselves to these games and to this industry, but then 2, take them on a journey to become professional gamers so they can compete on the global stage.
That's incredible. Now, you mentioned some of these games that I know my son has at home.
Yeah.
And I hear him hollering and screaming and all the things upstairs. But what's the difference between him playing at home versus me bringing him to something like this?
Yeah, so great question.
Yeah.
The real big difference is you're learning in community here. Very similar to what, just like if we learn basketball, baseball, or football, right?
Yeah.
Kids can learn the game at home by themselves, right? They can play catch by themselves, they can shoot the ball by themselves, but do they really start to grow in terms of everything that the sport has to offer? Right, and so when you think of basketball, there's the team aspect to it. There's plays, there's organization, there's strategy, there's all these things that come with these sports that's just outside of executing the game. So kids can absolutely learn how to execute the game at home, but how will they learn how to play competitively? Well, this is where they come here.
Gotcha.
So here what we do is we provide kids an assessment to really help them understand what their strengths are and their areas of growth.
An assessment?
An assessment, yeah, an actual full-blown assessment, yeah. You can have one yourself before you leave today.
I'm gonna take the assessment.
There you go.
We're gonna see.
But with that assessment, it allows us to quickly identify what skill level they're at.
Okay.
Very similar to sports. If you were to sign up for football for the first time in high school, they'll give you a tryout, and depending on where you fall in terms of your skill level, that determines what level you play on, whether you're a freshman, JV, or varsity. We have the same type of concept here. Depending on where you level at, then we decide if you're going to be in our novice level, which is our D5, or you're going to be in our elite level, which is our Division 1. So that way kids are actually learning and growing at the right pace in terms of how to incorporate gaming skills, gaming technique, because the last thing you want is for a brand new gamer to go up against a elite gamer,
Right.
and they're getting beat in seconds. Their morale's gone and they're going to lose interest. So we try to make certain. We don't want them to lose confidence. We want them to gain confidence. We want them to see the things that we're teaching actually being applied and developed and grown, and then institute those skills as a part of their behavior. So now when they are competing at those higher levels, they can actually do it not only consciously but unconsciously too, because it's all a part of their natural behavior.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'd say the best thing about us is the fact that they're learning this not only in community, but they're also learning it with the coach. So after the assessment, after we determine their level, we give them a coach.
A coach,
yeah.
Oh
the coach
this
now.
Is sports for real.
It is real sports, yeah. So
my mind. Okay.
They have a coach which takes them through curriculum and training. That can be done over a course of a year or 2 years. We really allow the kid to learn and grow at their own pace.
Wow.
And then they're also on a team. So not only do they get a coach, but now they're placed on a team.
Yeah.
So now they're learning how to play together with others in community. And so they keep learning and growing. We have our own league, which now every season they enter into a league with their team, so they can see how well the coaching and training and the teamwork is all coming together by competing with other players across the United States and internationally as well. So it's the second largest league in the world. We have over 200 teams who compete in the league. So it really allows us to craft and curate a lot of different experiences for our gamers. So I would say it's well incubated here, and it's controlled because we don't have any of the outside noise in terms of all the negative things that come in the world of gaming, the cyberbullying. We control all that.
That was one of the things I was concerned about, because we as parents, we're constantly having to watch that, We had them playing in the family room at one point, just so that we can monitor, because you don't know who you're playing with on the other side. So you guys monitor that as well.
Correct. Yeah, that was a big concern of ours as we look to build this out. Is how do we make certain that the competition side of it, because as you know, with competition, I mean, we all played sports. When you get in between the lines or on the field, things are said.
Oh, we're talking all kinds of stuff.
There's a reason why the crowd is so far away from the field, because you can't hear everything that is said.
True.
But exactly, right. Parents have the parents on the sideline have things to say too.
Yeah.
But when you have a kid who's on headphones, right, and they're being directly attacked that way, it can create some mental wellness issues,
100%.
or it can hurt them emotionally.
Yeah.
And so we monitor that. So our coaches, what we call, we have them on comms, which as they're competing in these tournaments or competing in these events, they're on comms listening to what everyone is saying.
Wow.
And if there is a gamer who's not interacting appropriately or doing things that are inappropriate, we can address those things immediately.
That's awesome.
Got it. Okay.
Pause.
Hey.
Oh, come on in, Brian. You're good. You're good.
He's like, what's happening? So I would love to take a tour, and I'm sure everybody watching would just love to see what you have going, because I am again blown away.
Yeah.
So just take us on this tour.
Absolutely.
This is awesome.
So when we built this, we really wanted to focus on really creating a training facility, right? So almost look at us like a karate dojo, right?
Yeah.
How do you build out
dojo.
those? Yeah. How do you build out the space to where it institutes more activities and training and purposeful and intentful curriculum to really help elevate a gamer's experience. So we have 40 PCs. All 40 PCs are powered by fiber optics, so we utilize Cox Communications and our fiber lines, which helps our gamers not to experience any latency.
So these are all gaming.
The PCs are all powered by Dell XPS. This is their top of the line gaming PC. So between the fiber optic internet and with these top of the line gaming PCs, our gamers are getting the best of the best in terms of the gaming experience. Because really the one thing I love about esports is that it is agnostic. It doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your ethnicity. All that matters is access. And so as long as a gamer has the access to the equipment, has the access to the games,
Yep.
has the access to the internet. Anyone has the opportunity to become a professional gamer. No matter what, again, no matter your age, no matter what, everyone's on a level playing field. All you need is access. And so what we are is a center that has provided the access.
Right.
Hence why we have the 40 computers. We also created lounge areas for that way when parents are here and they are observing or just engaged in their kids and the gaming experience. They have comfortable seating areas.
This is where I would sit.
Yeah, so we made certain that was a priority for not just the parents, but also for the kids too, because a lot of times what you'll see in gaming is that a lot of the kids, not only do they love to engage in the actual gaming side, they love observing the games too, watching other high-level gamers play, because they learn from what they are doing in those games, whether it's where to drop in maps, what types of techniques they're using in the game. They pick up on all of that. I think you're seeing now more kids, instead of watching TV, they're on their phone, on YouTube,
Twitch.
Yeah, I was
Twitch,
just like, why are you watching somebody else play a video game? But now I get it. Okay.
Well, and that, I would tell you, that was one of the motivations that I have with doing this. I have a nephew where he comes over my house, and whenever he came over, he was watching other kids play Fortnite. And I used to say, why are you not up there playing Fortnite yourself?
Right.
And he's like, Unc, I'm learning what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so he would spend hours doing that. What that made me realize was not only the natural, I would say, attraction that young kids had with gaming, but it was their willingness to learn and their willingness to want to invest time to develop. And so that was, to me, was an eye-opening experience. So then when I looked at, okay, well, where do they go train to become an esports player? There was no place to be found. That's why we did this.
That's how you started it.
Exactly.
Wow.
So we use these areas to help parents feel comfortable to hopefully observe and witness what I witnessed from my nephew in terms of how he got engaged into gaming. And so we try to create a comfortable environment. Every single one of our PCs can be casted onto our televisions. So if we want to feature a game or feature a competition, we can cast it. And we allow parents to actually see their kids actually compete. So that way, if they can get excited, they can jump on board, they can cheer, they can ask questions, right? Because sometimes you watch these games and things move so fast. You're like, well, what are they doing? So this gives us an opportunity to not only teach kids, but also educate parents on the journey as well. So that's what we create these centers for. And then we also have our own consoles that we can allow kids can play, whether it's Xbox Switches or PlayStation 5s. So if they just want to engage in casual gaming, they can. So what we're all used to is the casual gaming side, which were the Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendos, things of that nature. But what you compete on is the PC side. So we even help kids, if they've never played Fortnite on the PC, we'll start them off with a controller like they've done, like they've traditionally done with some of these consoles, but then we will transition them to keyboard and mouse, that's how most of these competitive games are being played on, is keyboard or mouse. So we help them with that transition.
Okay.
But are some games not available on PC that you would traditionally play on the PlayStation 5?
No, the great thing is all games are available except for like Super Smash Brothers. That's not yet on PC, but 90% or 99% of all games that are competed on from a global scale is all on PC.
Okay.
So when the kids come in, or not kids, anybody, right?
Yeah.
Because you said you serve anybody.
Anyone.
So do they have to play specific games? Are they able to choose the game that they play? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. We actually train on 7 of the top competitive games.
Okay.
So they can select on those 7 games. So it's Fortnite, Valorant, Overwatch, Rocket League, League of Legends, Super Smash Brothers, and see, now you're testing me. Apex. There we go. There we go.
Yes.
Okay, Apex.
We got
So
it.
those are the 7 games we train on.
Yeah.
Now we're still introducing more games we're looking to train on. Like right now, we're looking to integrate Rainbow Six as a part of our training curriculum. And so we're constantly adding more and more games. We really look for those games that are that they call more of an open source, where they can compete on an open field at any time. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare, that's open. Fortnite is open. So that means you don't have to pay to play in those games. So those are the games we try to teach in, so then that way it gives kids, gives anyone the ability to have access to any of those communities at any time.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm noticing that room back there, and
Yeah.
I'm super curious. Can we see what's
Absolutely.
there? Okay.
Yeah, so one thing we've decided to do with every single one of our locations is, okay, so you obviously have esports.
Right.
That's one component of I would say, the whole esports ethos, right? So the professional gaming is one side. But then there's a second side of esports that most kids and we want to introduce parents to.
Sure.
And that's, all the things you can learn from esports.
Right.
So obviously kids can learn how to be professional gamers. But there's also other fields kids can learn through I would say the nucleus of esports.
Okay.
So one of them is broadcasting.
course.
So we have this center here where we invite kids in. As you can see, it's soundproof. So once you close these doors, you can't hear anything from the outside.
Wow.
But it allows kids, if they want to learn how to stream on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, we teach them how to do that.
Wow.
And so now, because again, you'll find there's some esports gamers that they're good at the game.
Yeah.
And they can compete, but it's not their real passion. They rather teach and create content for people to follow. Maybe they have more of a personality that fits more the camera.
Okay.
So that's where they can come and actually learn that art on how to do that. So we bring kids back here, we expose them to that experience. We store everything on an SD card. So then that way the parent can decide on when to launch that content to the world. But whenever the kid is ready, or whenever the parent's ready, we can help them stream, we can help them broadcast, we can help them create content.
Wow.
We can put them through different scenarios and different experiences to be able to post things online. But we really give them the full 360-degree experience of what esports can bring.
Yeah.
We also have a broadcast desk, so then that way.
For those who like to talk a little bit.
There you go, right? Yeah. So then that way, if we have an event that's happening, that's why we did the glass wall. So not only people can look in, but we can actually look out.
Right.
So if we're hosting a tournament, like this Friday, we're having a Call of Duty Modern Warfare tournament. So now we can bring the broadcast desk up front and forward, and now you can teach gamers how to broadcast and really go blow by blow on what's happening in the location with the game. So that way they're learning that art of broadcasting.
Okay, so we've got content creation, broadcasting.
Yep.
I'm seeing this. Is this
Yeah.
engineering or?
Yeah, well, this is a piece of engineering. This is one of the most powerful PCs that's on the market.
Yeah.
And so,
See,
based
the
on
fans going, it looked like cryptocurrency.
close, right?
That's good.
But you do need those fans to keep the system to remain cool, right? Because the reason why you want to keep it cool because of how much energy it produces.
Yes.
When you're streaming and playing a video game at the same time, it's using a lot of energy.
Yep.
So having a computer that can not only host, but that can store, that can power that type of engagement is critical.
Got it.
But not only do we do the content creation, we have the broadcast, we can also set up a podcast area, which allows our gamers to learn how to do podcasting.
This is cool.
They can actually we have a TV there, so sometimes what we'll do is we'll post a game on there and they can do side-by-side commentary on the game. So you're getting all levels of broadcast journalism in the space. So if they have desires to be what the two of you do every day, this can be the first place they get introduced to it to see if it's a passion of theirs.
Of course, and it's around gaming.
It is,
This is incredible. I'm loving. I gotta start for a minute because I'm like information overload. I'm so excited. This is what I want parents and just other people to know. This is totally different from the casual gaming that we see our kids, playing at home. We're constantly looking at how many hours have you been on this thing? You need to get off and all that stuff. This is in a competitive, safe environment. You've got coaches. They've got an assessment, which I'm going to take the assessment. I want to see how they am. I'm super competitive.
There you go.
But you've got all these things, and now they're also learning other industries,
trade arts.
Other trade arts. All this is centered around esports.
Correct.
Who'd have thunk it?
I know, right?
Who'd have thunk?
Exactly, right?
This is really cool.
Atari and Commodore to
Who knew?
Esports podcast.
Yeah, who
Yes.
knew NBA Jam was going to pay off one day, right? But no,
Right.
you make a great point. I think over the years, because the technology has advanced so much,
Yeah.
and what you do on these devices is now becoming a part of our everyday norm.
Yes.
Right. You look at restaurant industries and how they've gamified their experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You look at everything that we use today. That's all technology driven.
100%.
You look at airplanes, right? Airplanes are being, there's drone airplanes being tested now,
There they are.
right? We have an Air Force base here in Las Vegas called Creech Air Force Base, and we have military fighter planes being all flown by drone technology. Well, all that is people on a controller.
That's it.
Right, and so where are they learning those skills at a young age? It's here.
Yeah.
It's like when they play these games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, Valorant, they're actually learning how to. It's like playing the piano, right? It's you learn how to develop your brain to teach your hands how to compose, whether it's a symphony or a song or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
It's that same art. So just like how we see the value of helping our kids learn an instrument to develop their brain, well, that's what these computers are. These
Yes.
computers are an instrument to help develop the brain.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't use the instrument in the right way, it can be seen as a negative play, right? So if I'm only letting my kids play where it's just purely entertainment, they're not gaining any of the additional transferable skills,
Yes.
then it's just for, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a useless cause, it's almost like a lost cause.
Ooh.
Well, that's the question I have. So it's basically two questions. So on one hand, somebody can come here and see this. They can listen to what we're talking about today, and you can feel bad as a parent, like, oh, I feel so bad. I've been like, get off of that game. You're on that game too much. But then how do you determine if somebody is serious with it or if they got potential to do something like, getting in a competition? So is that where like the assessments come into play?
Yes, sir.
Or, okay.
Yeah, if you're a parent today and you're trying to determine whether or not my son or daughter, because girls game too, right? And so
Yes.
yeah, so we
game too.
want to introduce more females to the gaming sector. But what we do, if you're wondering, is where is my kid at in that space? That's when you bring them to us.
Okay.
Let us take that assessment. Let us see if they're interested in the world of competitive gaming.
Yeah.
Because they might just want to play leisurely. It's no different from if a kid just wants to go in his backyard and shoot basketball, but doesn't want to compete at it.
Right.
So you're not going to force something on them. You're going to hopefully let them just gradually make the decision that they want to do it.
Yes.
This is almost, think of this as like, again, your dojo or your basketball court to say, okay, do you want to compete with the team and keep growing to get to that higher level? Because they might just want to be casual gamer, or they might want to be a competitive gamer. Now, again, on that competitive gamer side, what we've learned through science studies and through successes of other gamers, how a lot of what they're learning on these devices are all transferable into other industries. And that's what we work on teaching, showing, and developing here with our kids, is how do we help you see, by you doing this, you are now learning the trade art of coding. By you doing this, like, again, these kids build an island on Minecraft because that's also another game we train on, is Minecraft.
Yeah.
They're actually learning engineering skills. They're actually learning architectural designs.
Yeah.
They're building their own maps. They're creating interactive maps. Like, they're learning a skill where one day if they want to build a 50-story building, well, guess where they first learned they had a passion for it? It's through Minecraft.
10 and 12.
Yeah.
Our son, Jonathan, he played Minecraft for a long time, does Fortnite, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And remember, he built a community. He and his friends built a whole community
Yeah,
with
the
a
whole
school
community.
and
Yeah, school
a
and
train and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. It was incredible. And I'm like, whoa, but I'm thinking I'm going to see something like really crappy. And I was going to be like, oh, this is really nice. But it was really cool. And I'm like, this is architecture, this is engineering. Like they had to do math. This is great.
I got a great idea. So this is my story. As a parent, growing up, I played Madden. I wasn't played 2K, but I definitely played MGA Jam. So I could come here. Because what happened is when my son got to a certain age, he just took over the gaming system. And then when I tried to come back, I couldn't beat him. I
Yeah.
couldn't beat him. I couldn't beat my
Moving
friends.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have time to play and stuff. So I can come here
Yeah.
and you can give me an assessment. And you can build me up.
That is true.
So I can come back and get my okay.
So we are
Yeah.
working on. So we are working on what we called
parent
mature only package. It's our mature only now.
Okay, there you go.
I
So-
want to beat my son.
Yeah, so we invite
Get that
parents come in.
package.
Yeah,
I
so
want that.
my goal is to have a classroom of parents and teach them Fortnite.
Yeah.
So and we don't tell their kids,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so then one day, mom and dad just come
Now
home.
we talking.
Mom and dad just come home,
talking.
put on Fortnite, and all of a
Yes.
sudden now you're beating your kid in Fortnite, and your kid's gonna be like, "Where'd you learn how to do
Right.
that?" Like, but
yes.
but you make a great point. What we're also trying to do is not trying, what we are going to do is really help parents and help kids build that connective bond.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Right, just
I
like
love
how
that.
when parents played catch with their kids, or when
Yes.
they played basketball with their kids, that's a bonding moment for a
Yes.
parent and a child.
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason for that to have to end. You can still build those bonding experience through the art of gaming.
Because it's not fun when you lose a 47.
No, exactly, right? Yeah, and you don't. And there's 99
I'm
buttons to
not-
figure out how to use. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'll stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I would tell you the
Cool.
best experience one of my most memorable experiences throughout my whole childhood is playing Zelda with my grandmother. I remember wanting to always go to her
Zelda.
house every
Yeah.
weekend. Her and I would work on the maps together,
Yeah.
beat each level. It was
love that.
our puzzle we did together.
Yeah.
And so this is the same thing here. So now we're just, again, as technology advances and these games get more complicated, you have to learn how to do these things now, and this is where you come learn that. So yeah, we absolutely want to
Okay.
invite the parents in to be able to do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sign him up.
hope-
Yeah, there you go.
He tired. He,
For
woo,
me, 'cause
he's
I
getting
remember I
his
tried to
tail
play
whooped.
Tomb Raider,
Oh
and I
yeah.
just couldn't get off the boat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Uncharted, they just kept shooting me. I kept dying on. I couldn't get off the
Yeah,
boat.
yeah. So we can help with that.
Hope-
The good-
thank you.
Yeah, the
Mature
good thing
package.
is, we have, so we're working on a mature only package.
Well, I know. I mean, school is getting ready to get out, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys are going to be super busy over the summer.
Mhm.
What things do you have to offer over the summer?
Yeah.
What things change maybe here at Valhallan?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that, because not only are we looking at, okay, we have our leagues that we compete in every season. So this summer we have our summer league
Okay.
that we're inviting kids to come and compete in our summer league. Is 7 weeks of competitive gaming
Yeah.
with playoffs and a championship round as well.
Wow.
And we're signing up Fortnite, League of Legends, Valorant, Apex, Overwatch, all the games I mentioned, right?
Okay, yeah.
But then also during the summer too, because we do understand that kids need a place to go throughout the entire day.
Yeah.
We are also hosting camps. So we have camps throughout the entire 2.5 months of the summer. Each week we focus on a different category. So like the first week of camp is going to be focused on Fortnite. So the beginning and end of Fortnite. How does what is Fortnite? How was it introduced?
Yeah.
What are the characters in Fortnite? How does the map work? So the basic skills all the way to if you want to compete on Fortnite in their global competitions, how do you get there? So we're really doing a full introduction for any kid, no matter what level they're on, to really understand the 360-degree picture of Fortnite. We're going to do the same with Fortnite, the same with Valorant, the same with League of Legends, the same with Overwatch.
Yeah.
Also during the
games.
but we're also going to have some weeks where, like the week of Memorial Day, since it's only a 4-day week, that's going to be more of a fun week where we're going to teach Madden. So if anyone wanted to come in and either compete or learn all the different ways to compete in Madden, or just have fun playing Madden, we're going to host a Madden training week here as well.
Okay.
But then we also
Might need them.
yeah. But we also break it up and do some other things that are outside of just the actual video gaming aspect.
Okay.
Like for example, we have a week we're going to teach kids on how to build their own PC. So we're going to have a PC actually being
That's
built from
cool.
beginning to end. So that way throughout the entire week, they're seeing every single stage that goes into building one of these rigs.
That's
So
cool.
now they understand. Because when you can see how something is built, then you have a greater appreciation for what you're
Exactly.
using. And so
100%.
that's what we want to be able to teach them, is what goes in. Like, these things weren't just popped up out of nowhere.
Right.
Like there was work. It's an artistry. There's a craft behind it. So we're going to be
Yes.
working with our partners to be able to have an entire week teaching kids on how to build a PC, and then another week we're going to actually teach kids on how to build on Unreal Engine. So Unreal Engine is owned by Epic Games, and Epic Games is who builds Fortnite and Rocket League.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they build these open source islands, so you can build content to go onto these islands. Like one of the screens out there is showing on how they build characters. So like Patrick Mahomes has a character on Fortnite.
Yeah.
Travis Scott has a character on Fortnite.
Yes.
Well,
We remember you
Yeah,
had
concert.
that was a big thing.
That was
Scott
they
concert.
did.
Yes, that was a
Festivals are
big
big.
thing.
Yeah. So there are people who build on Epic Games to host those. So we're actually going to teach kids how to build on these open source fields like Epic Games. So we're going to teach that on Unreal Engine for that week.
Wow.
That's
Yeah. So we try to do so each week's going to be something different. So if a parent wants their kid to experience everything in esports, that entire summer they'll get all aspects of esports during that entire summer.
Okay.
That's so cool.
All
And I
right.
love how
I
it's
got one more
beginning all the way up to kind of expert level.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
So
I'd
what's
be in the
expert though? So like, you get a kid that comes in here and you
Yeah.
see he's killing it. He's
Mhm.
awesome. Like, what's the next level? Can it be a profession or
Yeah.
like what's you find the LeBron James of
Yeah.
esports? What's the next
Show
level?
me the money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing question. So there's several levels, right? So I'll give you a great example. So we have a team, so our location out of North Carolina, I have a team there who plays Valorant, and they won it's called CEC Invitational in North Carolina. They took first place. And I'm talking about this was a group of 12 and 13-year-olds that played together for a 6-month period of time, went up against high schoolers, seniors in high schools,
Yeah.
and beat them. And not by a little
Yeesh.
bit, beat them
Mop the
handily.
floor with
Yeah, where one of the coach thought they were cheating. That's how good they were. And I just said, well, if cheating is organized, then we're cheating. Because that's the difference between organized sports and recreational.
Yeah, you can tell kids that
There
they're
you
a coach. Or,
Yeah,
you can tell
coach.
somebody,
Yeah.
parent worked with them at home. You can tell the skill level. is
Exactly, right? I mean, even in basketball, you can go pick up 5 kids who are great individual players on a basketball court playing pickup games. You put them against 5 average kids who play as a team.
Yeah.
Those 5 average kids will wipe the floor with 5 talented kids,
Absolutely.
all because they know how to play together.
That's good.
And that's what we teach our teams, is how to play together. Because some of these games you compete in, you have to be in a team.
Right.
So that team won the CEC Invitational, and so then we flew them to Las Vegas to compete at HyperX Arena for what they call their Spike Drop Valorant tournament. So they went and competed at Spike Drop. They did well. They competed. All we wanted to do was give them the exposure
course.
to a world tournament. So they went there. They did really well. They went 1 and 2, but the 2
Wow.
matches they lost. They were highly competitive. They went in overtime the first one, and then went into 5 overtimes in the second loss. But I told them it was the experience is what I want them to have. One thing they learned about themselves, because what we teach them anytime they compete is always how to do a self-assessment, how to recognize your strengths, but also recognize the areas you can be better at. And it was great to hear them all step back and say, the one thing we need to do different next time we come to a tournament like this, because they had to lead in both of those losses, but they started to play scared. And so I started to play on the
Defensive.
defense. Yeah, it was all defense. And how they got the lead was being offensive. And so they've realized that they said, when we get that lead, we can't go into the defensive. We have to maintain. Probably pull back a little bit, but not go completely back on the defensive. So again, making them think of strategy. But think about how 5 kids come together and have that type of dialogue. You don't see that if they're at home by themselves. You don't see that if they're playing in isolation or independence. You only see that if they're in community, if they're with a coach, and they're in a place where they're training and learning with other like-minded gamers who are wanting to do the exact same thing.
Wow.
So to answer your question, we want to bring them into tournaments like that. So whether they're regional, national, or international tournaments, we want to bring our teams to. So we're hoping that once they get to that elite level, now once we know, okay, now we can release you out to the world, because not only do you have the skill sets, but you have the mental strength, you have the behavior intelligence to compete at that level, then we introduce you to those more bigger global tournaments that they can actually make money in. Like that tournament at HyperX, it was a $100,000 grand prize. Oh, wow. So these teams are competing for big time money. Now, when you get into those big time leagues, in some leagues, there are tournaments, there are no age restrictions. So you're playing against sometimes adults who do this for a living.
Wow.
Like they come in and that's what they make money on. So it's getting them ready for that. Is we want to make certain a great analogy for it would be, it's no different from how you look at golf or if you look at UFC. You don't want to put a brand new fighter into the UFC, right? Yeah. Because again, that skill set is a lot different. You want to start them off in intermediary leagues and then slowly graduate them to UFC. Yeah. Or you never want to put a brand new UFC fighter versus a champion because again, experience makes a big difference. Yeah. Okay. So we focus on here is experience. Like a golfer, you don't want to take a golfer right out of high school and move them right to the PGA. Yeah. You need to get experience. And so we try to put them on that continuum of experience, give them enough time to learn how to not just play the game, but play together. Yes. So then that way when they get into these leagues or get into these tournaments, that experience will now take over. And now they can compete with those who might have been playing for 20 years. But again, if they've been doing it casually, I would say I would take one of my kids who's been doing this for a year, organized, versus someone who's been doing it independently for 10 years any day of the week. Wow. That's how much this advances someone's skill, because when you can do it in an organized fashion, it's like, again, someone who's being trained by a martial arts teacher versus someone who's being trained by themselves. Yeah. You're just learning things at a higher level, at a quicker level, and now you're just, now your ability to respond and to perform an activity just becomes greater. Got it.
So you could potentially win $100,000 in a tournament.
Oh, even more. Oh, that's on the low end. I mean, there are tournaments out there. The limit. There's some tournaments, some global tournaments that has a cash prize of $1 million.
Jeez, babe, go ahead and get signed up.
Yeah. But I would tell you though, those global tournaments, the United States doesn't always show up well in those tournaments, and it's
because of that recreational mindset. We're not used to things like this. We're in other countries.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear about other countries having locations like this that are humongous. But it
didn't start in the United States, right?
No, it didn't. Well, esports actually started in Asia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but to your point, the difference between these other countries, like you think about countries like Japan, Korea, or China, where internet is not accessible to everyone. Internet's more controlled.
Yeah.
And so what they developed in these other countries are internet cafes. So people would actually go in, and that was the place they had to go to get access to internet.
Yeah.
But while they were there, that's where they were learning how to play these games.
Yep.
That's where they're learning how to meet other players.
Yeah,
they're competing with each other.
Take everything for advantage.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a great point. Here in the United States is because it's so accessible.
Yeah.
And everyone has it.
Yeah.
Everyone takes it for granted.
We waste time.
We waste, and it's a lot of wasting time. It's more recreational because we have I would say, in a sense, unlimited access to it. And so that's why when you get to these global tournaments, you'll see a lot of these past and previous champions are all people from countries that, I don't want to say third world, but just doesn't have it as accessible. Yeah. And they're using it as a trade art and a trade skill, and they're deliberately learning to get better. And now they know the money that's in it. Their focus and intent to be good at that game and compete at a high level is a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Hence why when I started looking at what was in the United States where we're helping kids, you think about it, Little League Baseball did that for kids here in baseball. Hence why we have some of the best athletes. Yes. AAU does that for basketball.
Yeah.
Pop Warner does that for football.
100%.
Well, what did esports have? We had nothing.
It's true.
Wow.
So
that's a missed opportunity.
It was a huge gap.
Yeah,
that's where I said, okay, well, how do we fill that gap? Well, that's how we formed this.
Got it.
Incredible.
So the people that you have here now are basically like trainers or workers, or these people that just come in the daytime and work? Or?
Yeah, so Ty is one of our coaches. So he's the arena manager. He's also a coach as well. So he runs the actual arena. The other people that are here, we use it more like a WeWork space because while kids are in school,
it's school time right now.
So it's like this place is kind of quiet. So a lot of people, you have some adult gamers. So he's an adult gamer. They're the two gentlemen here at the end. They're a part of a company called Inferno. Inferno is one of the only esports professional teams here in Las Vegas. So they use this as their quote unquote home field. But it's great for us because when the kids do come in and they see a professional team here, one, it can show them what they could be, but two, they do a great job because they love the community and they always will tell you, God, I wish I had this when I was a kid. They're helping us create an easier pathway for the kids who are wanting to become professional gamers.
That's great.
But three, they really help reinforce all the behaviors we're trying to teach. Like if a kid rages out on a game, they'll step in and go, here, let me tell you the reasons why you don't want to rage out on the game. Like these guys survive off of competitions and partnerships and sponsorships.
Now, can that be, not to cut you off, but what if you see a kid like raging out? Do you feel like that can be corrected?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's because that's what you guys are doing in coaching, and you're debriefing after games and all of this. Wow.
Yeah, so always whenever a kid comes in for training and competition, we always spend 1 hour developing them. So we spend about 15-20 minutes on a behavioral skill. So like the other day we were teaching kids on how to win graciously and how to lose like a champion.
Good sportsmanship.
Good sportsmanship. And so we'll show them a video, we'll talk through it, we'll teach them. But as we all know, the biggest impact comes through observations and immediate feedback. So when we do see a kid take defeat the wrong way, is how do we have a conversation with that young gamer right then and there? Like the other day we had a gamer, there's a in the game Fortnite, there's a thing that you shouldn't do is when you eliminate someone, it's when they're already eliminated, you still continue to rub it in their face. Yeah, it's called, I hate to use the term, it's called knifing. You just keep knifing them. But it's almost like rubbing it in their face. Or there's also a thing where you can spray paint on the ground and like you've tagged them. There's all these things that the game allows you to do, but it's not good sportspersonship. Like you shouldn't be doing that. So we teach them on how not to do that, and we will remove them from the league if they do that, because you're not trying to rub a defeat in someone's face. You're trying to help. Again, you won, great, but how do you win like a champion? How do you lose like a champion? So if you lose, is how do you deal with that defeat? So sometimes we'll sit and we'll talk to kids after they lose just to make certain they process that the right way. That failure is not defeat. Failure is just another step forward to get you closer to success. And so we show them how this is part of the learning cycle. So don't be angry that you lost. Learn from the loss and then learn what you could do differently, and then let's get in there and do it, right? So that way they're constantly building and learning, because I think we all know failure is just a part of life. But if we teach kids how to embrace failure the right way, they will not enjoy it. You never should enjoy it, but they will understand that it's part of the process, and that's what we want them to do. So that helps reduce the actual, what we call the raging side of it. So we try to teach those skills. We always make certain that a portion of our nights are spent teaching the behavioral side to help them develop as a gamer, because these guys will tell you sponsorships won't sign them. Partnerships will eliminate them.
Think about sponsorship.
And leagues.
That is really the limit here.
And tournaments won't invite you. If you're that team who acts out or rages out in a game, and they don't like your, I would say, sportspersonship, they won't invite you back. They have every right to accept you or eliminate you from a league.
Wow.
So that's what, and so the great thing about having these guys here, when they see a kid do that, they can easily step in and say, hey, you know, if one of our content creators or one of our gamers did that, let me show you the sponsorships we will lose, the money we will lose, the followers we will lose. Like they really help them see the impact of the decisions that they're making and what they should learn from that to help them if they want to become a professional gamer or a content streamer, what they have to embrace. Because even a content streamer, you can't go out there and say things and do things and act inappropriate because you can immediately lose your followers. And we all know if you lose your followers,
esports PR.
Yeah, exactly.
Esports
it is. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
I've got a two-part question because you mentioned access earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really key, especially in our community. I know everybody watching wants to know how much does something like this cost, an experience like this cost?
Mm-hmm.
Is it subscription based? Is it? And I know you mentioned camps as well.
Yeah.
But also, as far as access,
Yeah.
Is there something available for those who maybe really, really want to get into it, but maybe can't afford it or something like that? So.
Yeah. So we do have a membership model.
Okay.
And so the membership model is a monthly membership subscription, but it gives them unlimited access to the facility.
Okay.
Now you have we have our social membership, meaning if you just want to come in and you don't want to learn from a coach, you just want to come in and you have access to the equipment and just gain.
Like a Wonderworks type thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a flat fee of $120. Then we have a standard membership, which is what gives you access to coaching, which you're dedicated to have 2 hours of coaching every single week, and you're also going to be placed on a team, and you will have competitive gameplay 2 hours of each week too. So that means you're getting the coaching, you're getting the teamwork, and you're getting the actual competition every single week, and you get to enter into our league for free too. So that is $199 a month. And then $299 a month is our VIP package, where you get 4 hours of coaching, 4 hours of competitive gameplay, unlimited access, and you get content streaming and everything that this has to offer back here. So you get everything, plus you get everything the facility has to offer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is, so to answer your other question about how it's accessible to everyone, this is our only location right now in Las Vegas, but we are looking to open up 4 more here in the city. We are already in discussions with a nonprofit organization right now to open one in their facility to allow the city to have it accessible to our underappreciated communities. So that is on my heart, and God willing, that will be done hopefully within the next 90 days. Had a great meeting this morning on it, so it was it's moving in the right direction, and it's actually moving faster than expected, because we were like, oh wait, but I think I told you that was supposed to be my 24-month plan.
Yeah.
But I spoke it into existence so quickly.
So you speak it into existence.
Yeah, it became a 4-month plan,
important.
but it's happened faster than I expected, which is actually a great thing, because in those cities, or those parts of the cities where it's not as an affordable option, we're going to make it affordable for the community. So as long as you're in that zip code, and as long as you can show you're in one of these areas or school that you deserve to have access, that the facility will be made free for those who want access.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Are there any? Because since we got everybody watching, is there any way that other organizations can help be involved? Sponsor children, anything like that? Yeah,
so I mean, we're always looking for community partners to be a part of this. I mean, even in your zip codes that you do where it's considered more affluent or more high income earnings, there are pockets where it's not affordable for everyone. Or, a lot of times, just because a parent wants to create a better atmosphere for their kids, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So having these extracurricular things aren't always there. So having community partners step in for us to provide scholarships or sponsorships to have kids have a free membership, we're always looking for that, because more and more kids need to be introduced to the world of esports, and we don't want something as money to become a barrier. So we have community partners out there, whether it's a corporate sponsorship or a local sponsorship, who just wants to sponsor a few students. It'll be great for us to go to our local schools. We've built partner relationships with all of our local elementary, middle schools, and high schools, and they're all adopting and embracing esports. And so for us to be able to go to those schools and say we have these community partners offering this many memberships, and you can give them to your to your students as a, whether it's perfect attendance, straight A's, or an academic gift, right? Because they're always looking for gifts to give to their students. If we can provide those to our school programming, that will be awesome. Teachers are looking for more things to provide their incentives for kids, and schools are looking for additional incentives. So the more we have like that in our tool belt is what we want to offer to the local community.
Got it. That's awesome.
Oh, so Jen, come on in.
There's only so much
Jen's
space.
always hiding off of the. Here's Jen, y'all. Okay.
Hello. All right, so you just mentioned schools.
Mhm.
I heard that there are scholarship options available for esports. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about that?
Yeah, so great point. One of the great things and what I've learned with esports, and this was another thing that told me, okay, we need this because we have to fill this gap. I started doing research and saw that there are over 300 colleges and universities across the United States that are offering full ride and partial scholarships for esports players. Reason why schools,
wait.
yeah,
300?
over 300.
I didn't
Like
even know they
scholarships.
existed.
Scholarships.
You can go to school.
You can go to school.
So that's like a
esports
major.
scholarship.
No, it's like a
Oh, like sports.
sports. Yeah, it's like a sports. Like you know how you get a full ride scholarship
Yeah,
for
yeah.
football, baseball, track.
anything.
Now
Oh,
esports.
it's like an
is-
esports team for this.
Wow.
Yes, schools are now moving from club esports to more organized esports.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they
That's how we
need
can offer it.
competitive gamers to come in to compete in those spaces.
Got it.
But what
Cool.
the schools are also learning, which is even better, is that these gamers who are professional gamers, who are competing in these organized games,
Yes.
they are your next entrepreneurs.
Right.
They are your next
Yeah.
Doctors,
Elon Musk,
or
your next doctors.
Yeah, engineers.
Yeah.
But that's how Fortnite can help you become a doctor.
Exactly.
Like pay for your school to become whatever it is you want to
Exactly.
You
be.
even
Mhm.
talk. You look at the medical industry
Yep.
and how less invasive operations are happening
Yep.
like this.
Mm-hmm.
That hand-eye coordination is starting right here.
Right here. Yep.
And
Yep.
now you've got esports scholarships and, like you said, so many transferable trades.
Mm-hmm.
All from here. This is what I'm gonna tell you guys.
Yeah.
As in any industry, if you're a business, if you are a corporation, if you're a part of a business, and Valhallan is in your city, partnering with Valhallan,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine a better thing
Yeah.
because you are training, you are helping train the people that will work for you,
Mm-hmm.
the people that will grow your companies.
Yeah.
This is huge.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. No, that's a great endorsement.
Yeah.
But
Oh my
it
goodness.
is training our future. I mean,
Yes.
that's what we're doing. We're giving our future the opportunity. Can I tell you the most
Wow.
interesting part, though? With those 300 universities and all the scholarships they had to offer, they were only able to use 40% of those scholarships. The other 60% went unused.
Interesting.
And the reason why is because they don't know where to find them.
Awareness. Yeah,
Wow.
people just don't
Where
know.
do I go?
Like, I didn't know.
Yeah, like
Probably.
one, parents don't know about it, and
course.
kids don't know about it, so they're not applying for them. And then two, the schools that have the teams, they don't know where to go look. And the places they do go look, the issue they run into is that a lot of those gamers, they're already adults. So you can go to a tournament, right?
Yeah.
But like I mentioned earlier, the tournaments are not just high school kids,
Yeah,
but it's
they're
also adults. So you're
Right.
kind of like, I mean, and now everyone would, you don't know how old anybody is anymore.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
look at them, you go, you look 22, right? So it's like, I mean, you just age well, right?
Right,
So,
right.
I appreciate
but you just, but you just can't tell anymore. So
Yeah.
the schools are having a hard time. Well, the great thing is now we can become the solve for that. So
Yes.
now
The
for college,
resource.
we're the resource.
Direct.
They come direct and say, so
Direct.
my goal is for every university to always come looking into Valhallan
Yes.
to say, okay, who are your 17-year-olds?
Yes.
Who are competitive in this game because we need to fill a seat for Fortnite or we need to fill a
goodness.
seat for Valorant and now get a full ride scholarship.
Yes.
The great thing is, and here's how I know it works. So already we've only been open now for a total of 6 months
Okay.
with all three well, each of them different times, but the total longevity is 6 months. And already, so my first location was in Cornelius, North Carolina. We already have 2 kids out of that local Valhallan receive full ride scholarships
Wow.
to their local
Goodness.
university. So that's how we know it. But
Oh my
the
goodness.
schools even
Proven.
said you made it easier for us to find them. Well, we didn't have to go looking. They knew which games they needed, and they said, okay, we need a Valorant player and we need a League of Legends player. And when they came, they observed our players,
Wow.
and they offered them both full ride scholarships.
Full
Hey.
ride scholarships.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So now remember, more and more universities are adding esports.
Right.
So the problem we're going to have, which is a good problem, there's going to be so many scholarships
Of course.
and not
Train
enough players.
people up.
We got to train them up.
Yeah.
We got to get them to that level because again, they can learn from home, But again, how are they going to be found?
Of
Because
course.
the problem is when they're playing that. So there's another answer to your question. So great. That's why it was a great question. I'm using it in the future now. The reason why you also don't want them playing from home versus playing here, because when you're playing from home, no one knows who you are. Because remember, your gaming profile doesn't share with you, won't share with others your age, won't share any information.
Okay.
It's all private.
Right.
So it's their own made up persona. So you don't know who you're talking to.
Okay.
So if I'm at college and you're at home and you're the greatest gamer on earth, I would never know.
Wow.
But if you're in an organization like this and you're that top performing gamer with that persona, now we know who you are.
Yeah.
Now we can introduce you to those universities and help you
Perfect.
and help you get the scholarships you're looking for.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah, that's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
Seems like you got
This
a
is-
great business going on.
This is
They gotta get them in here
They
young
gotta-
so they
Yeah.
can stay
That's
ready.
right.
Yeah.
If you
That's
stay
right.
ready, you
You
ain't
You
got
don't
to
have
get
to get
ready.
ready.
There you go. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's true. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's
You're
right.
always ready. And that's what we're working for. And the
Yeah.
great thing is the thing that brings me the greatest joy about this is when you see a young gamer who comes in for the first time, they're quiet, they're kind of keep to themselves, they're an introvert.
Yeah.
They just, they don't feel like they belong, and and I always notice when they're coming in for the first time, I can always tell the first timers,
Uh-huh.
when they always sit on that
That far wall over there?
near the door, like they're always down on that side. And you'll
Yeah.
notice after a couple of days of coming in,
Yeah.
they start moving this way. And then they become on this end,
Right,
And so
right.
we start. So not only do they graduate in skill, they graduate in social interactions,
Yes.
and they start to come out of their shell.
Yeah.
And I have this young man who when he first came in, cutest kid in the world with glasses, quiet as can be. Now he's the loudest one in the room,
Oh.
and he now vets anyone who comes in. So we had an NFL player come in about 2 weeks ago. He plays for the Colts, DeForest Buckner. He came in. DeForest is like 6'8",
Yeah. Big
300
guy.
pounds, pure muscle, right? Yeah, the kid is probably like 6 or 7 years old, but little guy.
Yeah.
And when he comes in, the little kid walks up to him and goes, "Are you a gamer? Because if you're not a gamer, you shouldn't be in here." And so, but you think about it.
That's so sweet.
If you think about it, a month ago, he would have never had that type of interaction. He wouldn't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Now he's finding himself, because he's in a space where he can be himself. His social awareness, his social communication, his social connectivity is now evolving.
Yes.
And so when you see things, even his mother had a tear in her eye
Yeah.
because she was like, I just love seeing him blossom. He's
Right.
finally blossoming. And so hearing from fathers and mothers, just thank you, because some parents go, I didn't know what to do with my kid. Like
Right.
all he or she is doing is playing these games,
doing this,
and I
yeah.
don't know what to do. Well, you bring him here, because what we do is get them. We introduce the social side that is missing when you keep them at home.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, if this episode wasn't one of the coolest episodes that you've ever seen, and I hope what it did was change your mind about esports. And maybe you've got one at home. I know we definitely do, so we're gonna be back. But if you got one at home that is, a gamer, that their thumbs are just going and going, bring them on over to Valhallan. How can we reach you? How can we find you?
Yeah, so you can find us on our website, valhallan.com. You can also find us on social media.
Yeah.
It's at 702 Valhallan. You can also just come by the location. I invite everyone to come in,
Yeah.
because the pictures doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah,
cool
for
in
sure.
here.
It's
Yeah.
so
You
cool
gotta
in
go.
here. Yeah.
Even
the
parents
podcast-
want to hang out here, which again,
Yeah.
we have some parents who also come in and game too. But
Yeah.
you can see that we are a very inviting community.
Yes.
We're a community that want to see not just kids but everyone grow in the world of gaming. But come see us at 500 East Windmill Lane, Suite 100, or find us in social. I mean, we're always here. Book an assessment, book a free tour, have a free day of gaming just to experience it and see whether or not this makes sense for you or your young one who wants to develop.
Got it.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having us. I think I might need an assessment. I don't know. Show me where the Sega Genesis is, and I'm there. Just kidding.
No,
But thank you so much for
You are so
having us. We're going to put all of Valhallan's information down in the description below. I think I mean, this is global, so we're gonna put all of your location information.
all three. Yep.
Yep, all three in the description below. But hey, if you are a gamer, if your kid is a gamer, why don't you comment? Let us know what your favorite part of this podcast was. We definitely want to hear it. And we're always looking to see what else is going on here in Las Vegas. This is definitely one of them. And thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.